Huge relief signed into law on Friday for student loan borrowers. If you have student loans or you know someone that does, listen up. I got an update coming up. My name is Mike Bernard. I am the host of the Wise Money Show. I'm also one of the certified financial planners right here at Korhorn Financial Group. Welcome to this channel. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and smash that thumbs up button. All right, here we go. We got another big break on Friday in regards to student loans. So let me go back. On August 8th, President Trump signed 4 different executive orders designed to help stimulate the economy, continuation of the CARES Act, or add some more stimulus into the economy because Congress could not get it done. Let me just say, all of those 4 executive orders has created a lot of confusion and drama, and now it's left to different folks around the country to figure out, well, what are these rules and how do we implement them, or do they apply? Student loans have been a big one. So we know that there's a student loan problem here in the United States. And let me just give you a couple of the statistics. We're now over $1.5 trillion of student loans out there in the economy. That is a staggering amount. You might say that sounds normal because all these stimulus packages are trillions and trillions of dollars. $1.5 trillion, that's a massive amount of debt. And I don't have a chart to show you here, but essentially if you go back and look from 2005 or 2000 to right now, and the total debt that's outstanding, you see mortgage debt go up and then it goes down after 08 and then it goes up again. Same thing with credit cards debt, same thing with with auto loans. They go up and then they dip a little bit in the last recession and then they go higher from there. Student loans, bam. That thing is straight up. We have a problem here. Let me hit a couple other stats. 1 out of 4 Americans have student loan debt. That's nearly 45 million people are shackled with student loan debt. The average student loan debt amount is $37,000. So if you have student loans, the average amount is over $37,000, making the average student loan payment $393 a month. Now, the site, I'm actually going to flash it up on the screen here. It shows a lot of comparisons, which is pretty incredible. That student loan amount is the same as a 20% down payment on an average house. You could buy a brand new Audi for that amount. You could buy a Tesla. Who would want that? Push their stock price even higher. You could pay for a wedding with that amount. I mean, we've got a staggering amount of student loan debt out there. I'm just going to go on record, and you can throw hate mail at me. But I worry about the solution being just erase all the debt. I really do. For those of you that worked hard and really worked hard to pay cash for school, wiping out all the debt creates a disincentive. And then second, there's this weird thing that really could happen in the economy because someone actually holds all that debt. And to just forgive it and not have it paid back, it's going to be some weird implications in the financial economy. So you can get mad at me all you want, and I'm okay with relief, but as far as just forgiving all that debt, that does concern me about the consequences of it. But here we go. On Friday, the Education Department actually approved of every part of the executive order that President Trump signed in regarding student loans on August 8th. What he actually signed in was a continuation of the forbearance that the CARES Act instituted. Back at the end of March, the CARES Act said for your federally backed student loans, we are going to have those go in forbearance, meaning the interest rate will be moved to 0%. So interest will not be accruing. So your federal student loans will be moved to 0% interest rate and no payment will be due until September 30th. That was the CARES Act. And the Trump administration did an executive order and the Education Department just approved that this past Friday to move that September 30 deadline to the end of the year. So now your federal student loans will remain at 0% with no payment due until the end of the year. What's not in the executive order and was not approved yet is a forgiveness of $10,000 of student loans or some other sort of forgiveness. This is purely a continuation of the forbearance, which again, 0% interest rate for your federal student loans and no payment due now until 2021. So what should you do if you have federal student loans? Well, what should you do if you have student loans? Number one, figure out if they're private or federal. You've got to figure that out. Apparently there's, I don't have it right in front of me, somewhere close to 10 million loans outstanding that are not federally backed. And so if that's you, this does not affect you at all. I would just hate for you if you have non-federal loans to assume that this applies to you and all of a sudden you're missing payments and you're creating a huge problem for yourself. So number one, if you have student loans, figure out which ones are federal, which ones are private. Number two, if you financially are on unstable ground, if your financial foundation is not stable, don't make your payment for your student loans and use this money instead to stabilize your financial situation. Maybe that's paying off other debt, maybe it's building up an emergency fund, whatever it is. Make sure your financial situation is stabilized. Update your budget, update how you track your budget, reorganize things in your budget, and use these dollars so that it can stabilize your financial situation so that when payments do restart in 2021, you're in a very, very strong financial position. Third, if you have student loans and you're taking advantage of a current federal forgiveness policy, a forgiveness program. Now, there are not a lot of them, but there are a few apparently, and you're just going to have to take my word on it because this one's very confusing. There's lots of information out there, but in the articles that I've seen, what the Education Department actually approved on Friday does still mean that these months where you're not paying will still count towards those consecutive payment history for these forgiveness programs. So if that's you, I would tell you the information I'm seeing is this time will still count towards that forgiveness, but for your specific forgiveness program, I would go in and look. I would go in and do the research and look. What I'm seeing here specifically talks about the public service loan forgiveness. It actually does count towards that, but if you're going for income-based repayment, that sort of thing, go in and do the research to see if that applies to you and see if this counts towards it. And then finally, the final thing, if you have student loans, if you know they're federal, therefore they're on forbearance through the end of the year, 0% interest rate, and no payment is due, and your financial situation is stable, continue making the payment. That is my recommendation. Continue making the payment. All of that payment that you're making right now will go towards the principal. Therefore, when interest restarts, it'll be applying interest on a lower balance, meaning this will save you money. So if your financial situation is stable, that is fantastic. And if you have federal loans, try to make as much progress as possible during this freebie time period where the interest rate has been moved to 0%. As always, you've got to make sure that that fits in your overall financial plan. So talk to your certified financial planner. Make sure that is your wise step to make. And if you don't have a certified financial planner, you can always contact a member of our team. You can find us online, corehorn.com or wisemoneyshow.com. Either one of those, you'll find us. You can also send us an email, info@corehorn.com. All right, there you have it. Go out and take your next wise step in your financial life.